Victor Mature was one of Hollywood's most recognizable leading men, admired for his rugged charm, commanding screen presence, and unforgettable performances in epic films and classic westerns. Yet behind the fame and success was a man who valued humility far more than celebrity. His journey from a hard-working young man in Kentucky to an international movie star was filled with determination, sacrifice, and personal struggles that few people ever saw. Born Victor John Mature on January 29, 1913, in Louisville, Kentucky, he grew up in a hard-working family. His father, a Swiss immigrant, owned a local cutlery business, and Victor spent much of his youth helping with the family trade. Life was simple, and those early experiences taught him discipline, responsibility, and the importance of hard work. Long before Hollywood came calling, he dreamed of building a meaningful future through determination rather than luck. After finishing school, he attended the Kentucky Military Institute for a short time before deciding to pursue a completely different path. He moved to California and enrolled at the Pasadena Playhouse, where many future stars learned their craft. Like countless aspiring actors, he worked several ordinary jobs to support himself, including selling refrigerators and working as a plasterer. Those years were far from glamorous, but they strengthened his determination to succeed. Hollywood finally noticed him because of his striking appearance and natural confidence. His breakthrough arrived in 1940 with 1 Million BC, where his powerful physical presence immediately captured audiences' attention. Almost overnight, Victor Mature became one of Hollywood's newest stars. Throughout the early 1940s, he appeared in a series of successful films that demonstrated he could handle both romantic and dramatic roles. Movies such as I Wake Up Screaming, My Gal Sal, and 7 Days Leave helped establish him as a dependable leading man. Producers quickly realized he possessed a rare combination of charisma, athleticism, and quiet confidence that audiences loved. His career reached another level when he starred in Cecil B. DeMille's epic Samson and Delilah in 1949. Playing the legendary biblical strongman, Mature delivered one of the most memorable performances of his career. The film became a massive success and turned him into an international icon. He later appeared in other historical epics, including The Robe and Demetrius and The Gladiators, becoming one of Hollywood's most recognizable faces in large-scale adventure films. Despite playing larger-than-life heroes, Victor never viewed himself as a great actor. He often joked about his career with remarkable honesty and self-deprecating humor. One of his most famous remarks was that he wasn't really an actor and had dozens of movies to prove it. While audiences laughed, many critics believed he underestimated his own talent. Performances in films like Kiss of Death and The Long Haul showed a depth that often went unnoticed because of his handsome appearance and action-oriented roles. During World War II, when many actors focused on protecting their careers, Mature chose a different path. At the height of his popularity, he paused his successful acting career and enlisted in the United States Coast Guard. Serving in the South Pacific, he reached the rank of chief boatswain's mate. His decision reflected genuine patriotism and a willingness to place duty above fame, earning him respect both inside and outside Hollywood. When the war ended, he returned to filmmaking with the same professionalism that had defined his early career. Throughout the 1950s, he continued appearing in historical dramas, war films, westerns, and adventure movies. Unlike many actors who became trapped in one type of role, Mature constantly looked for opportunities to explore different genres. His versatility allowed him to remain a popular box office attraction for many years. As Hollywood evolved, Victor also searched for greater creative independence. Rather than relying entirely on studio executives, he became involved in film production through his own company. Working alongside respected partners, including Batjack Productions founded by John Wayne, Mature hoped to gain more control over the projects he accepted. It was an ambitious move that reflected his growing desire to shape his own career instead of simply accepting whatever roles were offered. He continued starring in films such as China Doll, Tank Force, Escort West, Timbuktu, and The Big Circus. Whether portraying soldiers, cowboys, explorers, or historical figures, he remained a dependable leading man whose strong screen presence appealed to audiences around the world. One of his most memorable later roles came when he portrayed Hannibal, the legendary Carthaginian general. Filmed in Italy, the production allowed Mature to once again step into an epic historical setting, bringing determination and authority to another iconic character. He also worked alongside legendary performers, including Orson Welles, further expanding an already impressive filmography. Yet despite his continued success, Victor began to lose interest in the demands of Hollywood. The constant pressure, long filming schedules, and changing nature of the industry gradually made acting less enjoyable for him. Financially secure and comfortable with everything he had accomplished, he made the surprising decision to retire while he was still relatively young. Looking back years later, he explained the decision with characteristic honesty, saying that acting simply wasn't fun anymore and that he preferred enjoying life instead. Away from movie sets, Victor's personal life was often far more complicated than his public image suggested. Over the years, he married 5 times, with each relationship representing a different chapter in his life. Although several of those marriages ended in divorce, he never stopped searching for stability and lasting companionship. His final marriage, to Loretta Sabin in 1974, brought the happiness he had long hoped to find. They remained together for the rest of his life and shared a daughter, Victoria Mature. Inspired by her family's artistic background, Victoria pursued a successful career as an opera singer, continuing the family's connection to the performing arts in a completely different field. Like many Hollywood stars of his generation, Mature was also linked romantically to several famous actresses, including Rita Hayworth and Anne Shirley. Those relationships attracted media attention, but he generally preferred keeping his private life away from public discussion. Friends often described him as someone who valued loyalty, family, and genuine friendships far more than the glamorous lifestyle many associated with Hollywood. By the time he entered his later years, Victor Mature had become more than just a movie star. He had earned a reputation as a humble, hard-working man who never allowed fame to define his identity. Although he enjoyed enormous success, he remained remarkably grounded, often laughing at his own celebrity while appreciating the opportunities his career had given him. As the years passed, Victor Mature gradually stepped away from the spotlight and embraced a quieter life. Unlike many former Hollywood stars who struggled after leaving the industry, he seemed genuinely comfortable with his decision. He rarely sought attention and often joked that retirement suited him better than movie sets ever had. Friends described him as relaxed, approachable, and content to spend time with his family rather than chasing another leading role. Although he was no longer making films on a regular basis, audiences never forgot him. His performances in classics like Samson and Delilah, The Robe, and My Darling Clementine continued to introduce new generations to his work. His legacy as one of Hollywood's defining leading men remained secure, even as he quietly enjoyed life away from the cameras. In his later years, however, Victor faced a series of serious health challenges. His eyesight began to deteriorate because of age-related macular degeneration, and complications associated with diabetes made the condition even more difficult. For a man whose career had depended on expressive performances and commanding screen presence, losing his vision was especially heartbreaking. As his eyesight worsened, he became increasingly private. Everyday activities that had once been effortless became difficult, forcing him to rely more heavily on those closest to him. Even so, he rarely complained. Those who visited him remembered his remarkable sense of humor and his determination to face every challenge with dignity. Rather than asking for sympathy, he remained grateful for the extraordinary life he had lived. Despite his physical struggles, Victor often reflected on the journey that had taken him from a modest childhood in Kentucky to worldwide recognition. He spoke warmly about the friendships he had formed, the opportunities Hollywood had given him, and the countless people who had supported him throughout his career. Although fame had brought success, he believed that family, loyalty, and personal integrity mattered far more than awards or public recognition. In his final years, biographers and journalists occasionally visited him to discuss his remarkable career. During those conversations, Mature openly acknowledged that, like anyone else, he had made mistakes and carried regrets. He admitted there were moments he wished he had handled differently and relationships he wished had ended on better terms. Rather than portraying himself as a perfect Hollywood legend, he preferred to be remembered simply as a hard-working man who had done his best with the opportunities life had given him. His honesty left a lasting impression on those who interviewed him. Beneath the confident screen image was someone who understood that success came with sacrifices. The pressures of fame, demanding schedules, and constant public attention had all taken their toll over the years. Yet he never allowed bitterness to define him.
Instead, he chose gratitude over resentment and reflection over regret.
As his health continued to decline, Victor spent most of his time at his home in Rancho Santa Fe, California.
Surrounded by family and a small circle of close friends, he enjoyed a peaceful lifestyle far removed from the glamour of Hollywood.
His daughter and loved ones became his greatest source of comfort during this period, reminding him that the most meaningful achievements in life were often found outside the spotlight. On August 4, 1999, Victor Mature passed away peacefully at the age of 86. The official cause of death was heart failure, with leukemia contributing to his declining health. His passing marked the end of an era for classic Hollywood, as another legendary leading man took his final bow. Those who knew him remembered not only the famous actor but also the generous, humble individual behind the public image. Colleagues spoke of his professionalism, his willingness to laugh at himself, and his refusal to let celebrity define his character. Fans remembered the unforgettable performances that had entertained millions across several decades.
Even today, Victor Mature remains an important figure in Hollywood history. His career demonstrated that lasting success is built not only on talent but also on discipline, perseverance, and authenticity.
While many actors spent their lives pursuing fame, Mature eventually discovered that true fulfillment came from living life on his own terms. His films continue to be celebrated by classic movie lovers around the world, serving as reminders of a golden age of cinema when larger-than-life adventures and unforgettable characters filled theater screens. Whether portraying biblical heroes, courageous soldiers, determined cowboys, or historical legends, Victor Mature brought confidence and sincerity to every role. More importantly, his life reminds us that behind every famous face is a real person with hopes, disappointments, victories, and challenges.
He experienced tremendous success, endured personal hardships, and ultimately chose a life of humility over constant attention. That quiet strength may be the most enduring part of his legacy. Long after the cameras stopped rolling, Victor Mature remained what he had always hoped to be, not simply a movie star, but a man remembered for his character, his resilience, and the lasting impact he left on everyone who admired his work. His remarkable journey continues to inspire classic film fans, proving that genuine dignity and authenticity never go out of style.